right. I feel last few times it's been a little debaucherous. There's been a lot of like puking in cabs, yelling in theaters, turn around and watch Mary Shaw. I think I hit us with the I'm glad that I'm glad I get to spread that out there and more people know, because that was amazing. But I figure we're going to boil this down to a mostly universal experience. Nathan, when did you lose your virginity?
Oh my God.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. So I think I was a bit of a late bloomer. I was 18. My first real serious girlfriend in high school. And we were together for about 6 months, maybe 7. Went to prom and did all that kind of fun stuff. And yeah, that would have been just before high school ended. So I got in under the wire, barely. Yeah.
So very normal, very ABC family. The camera panned away, and you lost your virginity.
Dude,
and then
that's
the next
what I'm
morning.
here. Yeah, that's what I'm here for on this show. I'm here to bring the normality. You guys need to have someone here to center things, so you guys can go off and puke in cabs and stuff.
Yeah.
Gavin, did you want to participate?
You know what? Fuck it. Sure. I am also a late bloomer, like Nathan. I didn't really lose my virginity until I was like 18. And it was a magical moment with a friend of mine in a closet at a party.
Oh,
that's awesome.
Yeah.
That is awesome.
It was also like the main thing is like, oh damn, I do like girls.
If you weren't sure before, that'll prove it. I wasn't sure before,
and then I was like, oh, maybe I'm bisexual. And then I was like, oh, okay.
Oh, this penis thing? Oh, I'm just gonna throw this away. That's just the part we cut off and throw in the garbage.
Yeah, and then although I did have some hetero sex in college, but it was just mainly like drunk, like flopping.
That was the experiment. That was you experimenting in college.
That was me
You're like,
experimenting in college.
I like all these other fucking weirdos.
Yeah. So.
Oh, okay. Time for Josh. All right.
So, let me just strap in. Okay.
So I was 14.
Oh.
I had just turned 14. And it was kind of me and a friend of mine who were friends with these two girls who were friends with each other, and we had sort of paired off in that way. And he was gonna be, this is how young we are, he was gonna be sleeping over at my place that night to play GameCube.
Oh my God.
They were over watching movies with us earlier, and me and this girl decided, it's like, let's go do it. Let's just go upstairs and do it. And so we went upstairs to my room. And of course, we're 14, and we don't have a lot of time. And we're like, okay, the quickest way we can do this, let's both pull our pants down to our ankles, not completely off. So things are already getting awkwardly acrobatic. We did use protection. I wasn't that dumb.
That's good.
So we did use protection. But in the midst of it, well, most of our clothes are on. The friends downstairs started yelling up because we were supposed to walk both of the girls home because they lived in another neighborhood. And so the other girl was downstairs going, hey guys, we got to go in like 5 minutes. And we just like didn't respond. I was like, it's like 3 minutes. We really got to go. We don't know how much time it takes to walk home. And then we didn't respond. And I was like, guys, like 1 minute. I was like, shut up, just stop. And so all the distractions and the awkwardness of it all didn't finish, as one would say. And so we pulled our pants back up. Me and my buddy, we walked the girls home. We came back. We were going to settle in to play GameCube, going to play some X-Men Legends on GameCube. I went to the bathroom. I pissed all over myself because I forgot the condom was still on. Like, honest to God, blow up like you know when you like try to cover up a tap and it just it was that, and I fucking everywhere. So
all right,
there's Josh's first time.
What a payoff! I love this story. I love this story.
Yeah, I think I also had Marvel, like that Marvel game.
Oh, X-Men Legends. Yeah, it was like Diablo Marvel on rails.
Yeah.
Wow.
So what have you guys been up to?
Well, I just worked for a whole week, 5 days. I was working for a company out of Vancouver. So basically, they were directing in Vancouver, and I was shooting in like in Dartmouth. So yeah, it was actually yeah, it was fun.
What was it that you were shooting?
It was canoeing and kayaking. Like there were like
Cool.
races, and it was like the nationals. Actually, it got released on YouTube and CBC Jam. So
Nice. Oh, that's sick.
yeah,
Ah.
yeah. So that happened. There were some trials and tribulations. Let's just say.
Which
Like,
camera were you on? Were you like a close up? Were you just like kind of with a wide track?
I was at the finish line, and essentially I was like covering like, at first they wanted me to zoom in and like follow like the winner, and then zoom out so I can catch like the rest of the canoers or kayakers like sort of crossing the finish line. And then it's just everything just kept changing. So it was like
as
it's
it
like
does.
as it does. It was like one of those like productions that you know, they might have had their reasons to direct in Vancouver, but I feel like sometimes
It's called a plane ticket.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you know, I can't really I don't want to say anything, you know, because I want to get hired by them again. You know, but,
That's fair.
yeah, but it was a bit of like a challenging production, let's just say.
Well, it can be doing remote stuff, like especially when it's like you're coming in with new people. Because like I'm working at Global, and there's no directors there. It's just you're just hearing a voice coming in from Toronto. The cameras are controlled by him as well, robotically
in Toronto. Yeah,
and you know, but they've had a lot of time to grease those wheels and figure out what works and cover their asses and stuff. When you're bringing in a crew of people you've never met face to face, and trying to you know, figure out what the space looks like just through their cameras. I can imagine that's challenging. And so, yeah, there's going to be a lot of changes that come with that.
Yeah. Yeah. It was just, and then one camera didn't work. Other cameras didn't work. So we're just like, we were like kind of like running around being like, what the fuck is it not working? So, yeah. And it's their cameras. So they actually shipped it to Halifax. And
what kind of cameras were they? Were they like big cameras, or were they just like those JVC ones?
Like the JVC ones, the ones that we used in NEG. Okay, yeah. The one I had, the viewfinder was kind of broken, so like a breeze would go and like it would close, and so I'm like trying to hold it open and like trying to like zoom in, zoom out, because like usually when I film like with sports, I like to use like a remote for the wide and tighten and like recording. Yeah, it's like a lot easier, so you can just like do this and all that stuff. And then with also like my tripod kept sticking, and I was like I would be like, because like I like to gently like move it, because you try to be like not choppy but like nice fluid motions, but I was like I would have to put like a lot of force into it.
Oh yeah.
And then it was just like, and then oh my god, yeah.
A pain. Yeah. Nathan, what have you been up to?
I've been on a kind of a series of self-directed deep dives into After Effects and SEO, just trying to learn more about it. And it's kind of one of those things. I've After Effects is going swimmingly. The learning on SEO is a little bit more complex and weird and deep, but those have been kind of fun. I'm in this state now where I'm going out, I'm networking, I'm still waiting to hear back from some folks for contracts and things. And so I'm really working right now to kind of up my production values on some of the stuff that I'm already doing. So the fitness videos and things, I'm making new assets for them and that kind of thing. So it's a lot of just me, you know, working at home watching the world go by.
Yeah.
Don't get
it's
out
something
a whole
tangible
lot.
though. You're working
Yeah.
towards something. Like you got some bits and pieces. It's not like what's that like a Parks and Rec episode after you guys watch Parks and Rec where he's unemployed and he's like making the game of cones or whatever, and he's just like, oh, this is nothing, and sweeps it into the trash.
Cones of Gunshire.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love the stop motion when he's first out of work too.
What did press person make this?
Yeah. It's 1 second. Yeah. I compared it to Avatar.
Oh man.
Yeah, that's pretty funny.
So that's kind of what I'm up to professionally. And then personally, my wife and I went with some friends just this Labor Day weekend for a little day trip down to the valley for a little wine tour.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So I mean, it was
another wine tour story from Nathan. Although I don't know if the first one's aired yet or not. I can't remember when you told us about the other wine story.
I have no idea at this point.
Yeah.
All right, I'll be careful.
Yeah. Shut up, Josh.
Yeah. So that was a lot of fun. It wasn't it wasn't a professional wine tour. We just went to a bunch of wineries and drank a bunch of wine. It was good.
Nice.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Perfect.
So
yeah,
and they got a cat that day, which was also fun. Yeah, from the SPCA.
Oh,
yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
I drunkenly go to the
cat or the
SPCA.
younger cat?
A younger cat, just a year old, I think. She's this kind of orangey thing, and she had kittens. She was like a teenage cat mom.
Aw.
And a lot of the discussion that day was over what to name her. And I'm actually not sure what they settled on, but there was a lot of food names thrown around.
I think they should pick one of the cast of Teen Moms, the MTV show, or whatever the hell that it's on. Because I immediately, once you said Teen Cat Mom, I was like, that's a show. We got a writer strike going on right now. We can start a reality show about Teen Cat Moms make a killing.
Yeah. Actually, my cat Penny is a teen cat mom.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Before you got her?
Just from getting outside, or was it like an intentional courtship?
I don't know. I mean, she was a barn cat before I got her. So I don't know what sort of shenanigans coming up. So I don't know where she is right now.
I should say that the cat actually came with a pretty good name because she's orange and her name was Cinnamon, but she had 2 kittens. And so they named the kittens when they were born Toast and Crunch.
Aww.
So there's part of me that thinks you can't really change her name now.
Yeah.
Because I kind of love Cinnamon, Toast, and Crunch. Yeah.
That's so cute.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember we had to, well, not had to, but it just felt necessary because of the temperament of the cat. But when me and my ex-wife got a new cat, and it was told to us that it was a lady cat. Mm-hmm. And we were like, well, let's call her Barbara Gordon, like fucking Batgirl or Batwoman or whatever. And we'll just call her Barb. That'll be good. And the cat ended up being half Maine Coon, got big really fast, and had a big pair of fuzzy nuts. And we were like, well, this doesn't work anymore. This cat is too stupid. It's not, the irony doesn't even work on it anymore. So we changed the name to Garrus. So for any of the Mass Effect fans out there, Roll Dog Garrus.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Before I got Penny, her name was Gayla, which is no.
Yeah, I don't love it.
No, it's
not a name I've ever heard before.
We were like, what are we gonna name this cat? Because I was like looking up like Greek goddess names. I was like, I don't know, like that seems kind of cheesy if I do that, but
yeah. Do you want to be another girl with a cat named Freya?
Yeah, no. And then I was looking at her, and I was like, she kind of looks like a like a Penny, when they get like super gross and like oxidize like a little bit.
Okay.
So that's why I named her Penny. I named her Penny because of that.
I love that. You're like, when you go into the closet, you got a fucking old coffee tin. There's like some crushed, like someone went to the train tracks in there.
Yeah.
Penny that's all fucked up. Yeah, let's name her after that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. That's pretty great.
Yeah. So she looks like a little Penny. But she's
I had a dog that we named Indiana Jones, so we just called him Indy But when you'd watch either the first or third Indiana Jones movie and you've got fucking John Rhys Davies like shouting Indy, the dog would fucking snap over to the TV. He would go over and like sniff where the speakers were on the TV and inadvertently turn the TV off, trying to figure out what was going on.
That's so cute. Oh my god.
He was a good dog. Desperate to kill himself though. That dog loved chocolate. Loved eating weird shit. Like, he was a runt, so like they were not sure if he was gonna live, and he didn't live as long as normal. Like, he only lived to be 7, and beagles can usually be like 14 and turn into old tubs of butter. But he just, like, everything he tried to do, he like got any liquor he could get his hands on, any food, snatching whole chickens off the table, like, legitimately. The first time we had him for like a week, my dad brought him over to my grandmother's place, and the guy that she was with at the time, he was sitting in the living room with his legs out, glass of wine. That dog beeline right into the house, right into the living room, ran up his leg, and then just started licking out of the wine glass without any other introduction. Just started drinking the wine. And years later, my dad is a musician, so he was always playing in like bands and stuff. He'd be out late, come home from a show, and he'd come in and he'd be like, well, I'm going to make myself a peanut butter sandwich and have a beer. And the way the house was laid out, the door to the kitchen, you could kind of see like where the stairs disappeared into the upper part of the house. So Indy would always come and be peeking around there in to see what we're doing in the kitchen. So he'd see him looking, making a peanut butter sandwich. So my dad would make him a peanut butter sandwich too and give him half a beer into his fucking bowl.
Oh my god.
The dog was like Hooch from Turner and Hooch. He was just a drunk that just tried to steal food and eat chocolate and do fucked up things.
Oh my god. Did you have any childhood pets, Nathan?
Oh my god, too many childhood pets. Yeah, during my childhood we had a few dogs, but 2 at once, Snapper and Spud. They were Jack Russell Terriers.
Oh.
And they were brothers.
That's a lot of energy.
Yeah, it was a mistake. It was a real mistake. Well, we
just like the sadness in Nathan's eyes. He's like, yeah, it's
yeah. So we got them, they were brothers. We got them from the same litter, which was kind of strike number 1. And they grew up with this thing where both of them were kind of always trying to assert dominance over the other. So they were constantly fighting over everything. We had blood on the walls every Christmas until we figured out that we couldn't have stockings for them. Because what would happen, one of them would post themselves under the stockings.
Oh my god.
And then when the other one would come around the corner, you know, it'd be all fighting and gnashing of teeth. So yeah, there was at least 4 Christmases, I think, where we had blood on Christmas because of those 2. Yeah, they were wild.
So was this everyone's stockings? Like, they wanted to guard everyone's stockings, or there were stockings for the dogs that had things in there that they were aware of?
Yeah, there were stockings for the dogs, and there was just like, you know, bones and treats and things. And honestly, we should have caught on a lot sooner, quite frankly.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Spud was he was a classic kind of white Jack Russell with the patch on his eye. He was a legitimate psychopath.
Jesus.
He was scary. He didn't growl.
No.
He didn't bark. But he only had like one setting, and that setting was murder. He was kind of terrifying in just the fact that he was that quiet, brooding dog. He loved us, but he hated every other dog on the planet. You couldn't have him meet any other dog. Snapper was fun. He was gray and he was ornery and grumpy, but he was a little bit more sane. Like, he didn't really want to fight other dogs. He'd fight Spud because they were there and they were brothers and they probably wouldn't kill each other. But he wasn't super aggressive or anything like that. But he hated me because he was really my mom's dog. And there was that rivalry there that really shouldn't have been there.
How dare you take away affection from me?
Yeah. And the worst part was they were really picky eaters. So my mom would use me as motivation for Snapper. She'd be like, oh, Snapper, Nathan's coming. He's going to get your food. And of course, like, I'm just there being like, I don't want this. Because then he'd turn and growl at me as he ate, just like chewing and
idea.
And it got worse as he got older too, because he needed more and more drama. So I would have to like, she would get me to play along and I'd have to like creep towards the kitchen. And then he would kind of run out, scamper out, growl at me, and then run back and quickly eat his food. I think I have a weird relationship with dogs in my life, but yeah.
I love that we started out this episode with you saying that you have to be the normal one.
I do.
Yeah.
And now we're here
to keep the baseline.
Play acting for insane dogs. Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah. I had a husky when I was a kid, and
Another a lot of energy dog.
Mm.
Yeah, sorry. Sorry. Wait. Okay.
They usually come in threes.
Yeah. But yeah, her name was Chimo, and what my dad would do is sometimes if we were having like eggs in the morning, like if it was like a weekend, my dad or my mom would make like an extra egg for the dog. And so, you know, he'd put it down, and then like my dad would just start like touching the dog and just rowling up while she eats, because she's like, just like growling. Yeah. And oh my God, she would drive my dad up the fucking wall because because huskies just scream. She would scream, and then my dad would just fucking go in the backyard. So he'd do that, and then what was it? And then she would just start digging holes. Like our backyard was just a bunch of craters because like this dog would dig a bunch of holes, and my dad, it just makes me laugh because my dad would just stand in the window in our kitchen, just like staring daggers at the dog, not saying a word, but you could sense like this anger and hostility and resentment towards the dog in that moment. Just like
real Beethoven pickup shot.
Yeah, just coming from my dad, and my dad's just like standing there just like for like minutes. And my mom would be like, she would just actually just like poke her head out and be like, Jimbo, stop it, and the dog would stop. My dad is just continued to stand there.
No, because your dad was like halfway through designing Rube Goldberg-esque traps for the dog in his mind, and he has to finish it, right? He's got to get to the payoff.
Yeah. And my mom's just like, stop it, stop it. Oh man,
huskies are so much. There's 2 huskies who live in my building, and they're sweet, sweet dogs, but they have full-on temper tantrums anytime their owners leave.
Yeah.
And they live on the opposite side of the building than us. And we're like a 2-story building, 10 apartments. And yeah, they couldn't be further from us. And if they're having a temper tantrum, I can hear them through the pipes in our bathroom.
Jesus.
Yeah. I can't imagine living right next to them.
Damn. Yeah. I think, just
pets are weird.
Yeah. I don't think huskies are good apartment pets.
They're definitely not.
No, because they scream and all that stuff, and you're just like.
They also shed, and they're huge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have a buddy, and he grew up in the valley, so they had huskies, but they were all outside. They had like a huge thing for them outside and stuff, but they were all kind of rough and weird as well in their own country way.
Yeah.
That there was only one he could interact with, and he'd go, everyone was scared of it. So to freak people out, he'd go in and wrestle with it and elbow drop the dog and stuff. But the dog loved him, so it didn't matter.
Yeah.
But fucking, I don't know. I don't know how far down the rabbit hole we want to go with pet stories, but I'll tell this one quickly. This isn't mine, but this was from when my dad was young. So his brother, my uncle, was going to university here in this city to be a doctor, and he went back home on a break, and someone came to the house and told them, they were like, hey, we saw your cat get hit by a car and run into the bushes. There's this little black cat called Rusty, and he went out and went to the bushes, and the cat was all freaked out, and when he was trying to get it, clawed his arm all up and stuff trying to get it. And they managed to get it into like a box or something and take it to the vet. And they were waiting at the vet, and they couldn't save the cat.
Aww.
And he went and he had to go to the doctor to get like his arm looked at because he got absolutely clawed to pieces. And this is his first day back. So like after going through all that, going to the doctor, going home, he goes home and he lays down in bed. My grandmother starts yelling up the stairs, Doug, Rusty's alive. Look what I found in the laundry. He went downstairs. The cat's sleeping in the fucking laundry. That was someone else's black cat that got in the car and then took to the vet and clawed his arm off. So Rusty lived for many more years because Rusty did not die.
Rusty's like, yeah, I don't know what you guys are freaking out about for.
Yeah, just like waking up. What?
Oh my god.
Oh god. Fuck. If you guys are watching the YouTube version, the video version, you'll see me playing with my shoulder because I had to help my girlfriend move recently, which was a whole experience. They're tearing her apartment down, but that now they keep saying they're just renovating, and they kept saying to her, they were like, oh no, you need to clean it and we're gonna do a walkthrough at the end. And when I showed up there, I told her, I was like, we're not doing anything of the sort. I'm not mopping a floor they're going to tear up and cart out as construction garbage. Like nothing is staying in this apartment. The fridge barely works. Like it's a fucking gross. Like the apartment went downhill in the last little bit, especially when they knew they were tearing it down. There's like cockroaches and stuff. So she hasn't been staying there. She's just been staying with me. So it's been a process of packing to make sure there's nothing in the boxes and keeping them away from things. So having to move all that, and it was like I had to do it after work. So I'm like, and the elevator's super small, so it was like, I'll just do it. You just get things in the hallway. I'll take them down and put them in the truck. So I'm doing most of it myself. And I was like, maybe we can just get the fuck out of here and leave the keys behind. No, the super's like apartment is like windows right where the truck is parked, and I can see him looking at me every time I go by, and he's just like watching Jeopardy or some shit on TV. But eventually we did get out of there. We told them, we were like, we're not fucking doing it, and just gave them the keys. Mm-hmm. And then found out at midnight that her storage unit is not 24/7. So I had to hang on to the moving truck for another night and do it all in the morning and then get rid of the moving truck. So it was a whole ordeal, which sucked. But that being said, what movies has everyone been watching?
Who gives a fuck about movies?
Smooth as butter segues. I love it.
You guys get started. I'm going to go to the bathroom, but I'm going to keep the earplugs so I can hear you. It's a new fetish. Don't worry about it.
Okay.
Right. Well, I've seen like one thing here, so I'll start off, and hopefully it'll be fun for Josh in the bathroom. So I went, Dee and I went and saw Landscape with Invisible Hand, which is a little indie movie that was in theaters for about 15 minutes 2 weeks ago. And it's a kind of science fiction drama, a little bit of comedy. Really, really interesting, though. It's about a high schooler. He's a aspiring artist. He is in kind of this dystopian version of some American, suburb. And what's happened in the film is that aliens have come to Earth, and they're wonderfully weird little things. They look like someone crossed like a naked mole rat with an ottoman. So they're kind of these rectangular things. They've got little feet that they walk around on.
The size of an ottoman, or
they're about the size of an ottoman. They're very small.
God.
Yeah, but they're hyper advanced, and so they've come to Earth under the auspices of lifting us up and having us join their, I think, co-prosperity alliance type of thing. But in actual fact, what's happened is because they're so advanced, they're able to kind of take over all of Earth's industries because they can do everything so much more efficiently and effectively. And it's kind of I don't want to say like a friendly occupation, but it's by this point, it's 5 years after these aliens have come, and there's jobs are almost gone, right? Most of the jobs are being assistants to these aliens or in some kind of service to them. And there's an upper class of people who live on these floating cities, and the lower class that live in basically where we live now, except everything's going to shit. And
Except everything's going to shit.
Well, okay, everything is more shit than it already has. So give it like 5 years, and we're there.
Yeah.
And so it's a really interesting story. He meets this girl and her family who are kind of just moved there. They're living out of their car. He without his mother's permission kind of tells them to stay in the basement, and so there's a lot of drama around that. And he and this girl start dating, but she has the idea to basically broadcast their dating life, their courtship, because the little aliens don't have any kind of understanding of love. Like, they reproduce asexually, but they find it really fascinating. Like, it's a novelty to them. So it's like a big streaming thing for them. And so they'll donate money. And so it's kind of the story focuses a little bit on how their relationship goes off the rails because of these alien watching and them having to be performative about their relationship. Honestly, it's a weird little snapshot of this dystopian world, and it encompasses a lot of different things. I don't want to go into too much detail because it really is very, very good. So if you get the chance, I think it's already out of theaters because it was just a little indie thing. But if you get the chance, it's called Landscape with Invisible Hand. The title's a little bit weird, but it's throughout the movie you see his paintings. And he's always got kind of these very artistic names for them. So, and that's one of them. But highly, highly recommend it. It's a lot of fun. It's very different from any sci-fi dystopian movie I've ever seen. In ways, it's a little too realistic. You're just like, interesting. Because it does have a bit of a message to it, but it doesn't hit you over the head with it. Like it is more just kind of a subtle commentary on certain things. But yeah, it's really, really good.
Awesome. Cool. Gabby, what about you? Any new movies or old movies revisited?
Well, I rewatched Saw for the first time in like a decade.
I haven't watched that in a long time.
Yeah. It's not as gory, or it's
the least gory.
It is. It's like, and it has like the traps are just like it. You could tell it's like the very beginning of what they think, because like when you think of Saw now, you think of like all these insane traps and all this stuff. Like
making a callback to having referenced Rube Goldberg, they turn into more Rube Goldberg type stuff.
Yeah.
Whereas in the first one, it's something's just happens to be just out of reach. It's more of a nightmare.
Yeah. It's definitely like more frightening sort of sense of like, oh, you could be trapped in this like disgusting cell for like until you die, which is. But it has was a Carrie Eulis in it, and every so often his British accent will slip out. But he always talks in like this like gravelly. He's like, I'm a doctor. When he was and then you have Lee Winnell, who is, I think he's also the writer of Saw 2 or producer.
He's definitely directed some of them and probably as a writer. He was kind of, I think it's like him and James Wan were sort of like the originals for it.
Definitely like with those two, it's just the acting's not as good. And and if I was like a lot of like the Saw like movies, it becomes more and more like almost like a soap opera, because it's just like, oh, he's Jigsaw's dead, now he's alive in a flashback, now he's alive, now he's just a memory scene.
This was his apprentice. Oops, this whole movie took place at the exact same time as this movie. I get what you're saying. Yeah,
this is their apprentice. Well, then his new apprentice kills this apprentice. And then actually, this guy was the apprentice the whole time. So it's just like, it becomes like such like a weird, like soap opera-esque cop procedural, and
definitely.
Yeah.
I feel after 3, they sort of lose the point too, because after that, there's so many traps that are unescapable. Yeah. And that's sort of like the motive of one of the apprentices, that like you can't get out, and then it's like pointless.
That really, really bothered me watching the later movies, because it was just like, no, that's not fair. This isn't how you do Saw.
No.
Stop. Yeah. Like, I was mad on the behalf of Jigsaw, I think.
Yeah. I mean, but also
I
like
think one of my Oh, go ahead.
Oh, thank you. Like one of the things, like I just like where I was like, Jigsaw has such shitty motives too. He goes like, "Oh, you do drugs. You don't take care of life. So I'm gonna put you in a bear trap mouthpiece, and then you won't be a drug addict anymore." Or he's like, for one of the kills, he puts this guy in a barbed wire like trap, where if he doesn't like crawl through like this barbed wire like tunnel, he's gonna be trapped, like entombed in this room for like forever. And then so he's just like, the reason why the guy's in there, because he's just like, you decided to slit your wrists and all this stuff. And I was like, dude. So you're teaching him a lesson from like having like a depressive, like extremely low moment of his life by putting him in a fucking barbed wire like trap. That's gonna teach him like the value of life, I guess.
It's all very narcissistic, abusive parent
Yeah.
thing. Like, oh, you think you like smoking? We're gonna smoke this whole carton of cigarettes. You think you like killing yourself? Well, here you go. Fucking kill yourself, or don't. You know? Like,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's fucking awful. So
Now all I can picture is a parent, bursting into the room of their suicidal teen, and they see the X-Acto knife, and they said, "Oh, no, you want to kill yourself?" They sit down, they pull out a revolver, and you're like, "Now we're playing Russian roulette." Yeah, that's what we got to do now.
yeah, it's like, you failed your chemistry test. Now you have three bottles in front of you. One's water, one's like acid, the other is just poison. You've got 60 seconds. So punishing them for like the most trivial things. So yeah.
So
That was
just Saw. That's where you're just diving into Saw.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, I don't think I watched any new movies. I started watching the new Indiana Jones movie. I need to finish it, Dial of Destiny.
Oh,
I was
okay.
enjoying it. I think the only thing, like plot-wise, I like it. The thing I don't like about it is CGI lighting. Movies that really lean into CGI lighting and it's like gold colored, like it's weird and like unrealistic, and it's like, so there's a look to the movie that I'm not a fan of, and I've just been like, this is wearing on me over 2.5 hours. But I think the plot holds well with other Indiana Jones stuff. The opening was great, so I do want to finish it. But I had to get a new TV. I had a TV that I got from a friend that he got at a thrift store. So I had to like actually order a new TV, but I'm a weirdo with a VCR that my laptop is currently sitting on right now. And new cheap TVs that are smart TVs only have 2 HDMI ports and nothing else. So I had to find a TV online that wasn't smart that also had AV ports on it, so I could still watch the copious amounts of VHS I have, which I did manage to do. It was delivered. It's fine. It's an okay TV, but I was able to watch Terminator 1 and 2 on VHS recently. The Terminator 2 VHS, and something that I was like, as I was buying VHS, I was questioning, I was like, man, I remember trailers on every fucking tape I ever got my hands on. There was always trailers on them, copious amounts of trailers. And I found out that the reason all the ones I'm getting don't have trailers on them is because there's a separate license, and it'll say it on the box. It's like, this movie's licensed to just show the movie. You can't show ads before it. And that was kind of like buying them for like home use, because movies, even in like the early 90s, were like almost $100, like to just buy one movie for yourself. That's why video rental stores were like the tits. So I have a copy of Terminator 2 that is like from a rental store. It's a previously used kind of one, and it has like ridiculous fucking commercials on it. I recorded the commercial and I'm gonna send it. I'll send it to you guys, and I'm gonna probably, because I mentioned this, once this episode comes out, I'll put it on our TikTok. But it's a commercial about like, oh, you're gonna want to watch Terminator 2 over and over again because the special effects are so good. The actors in this commercial are the worst actors ever. It's the blandest line reads. If just like the dad like rewinding, he's like, I gotta see that again, and like, and then it's like the trailer voice, and it's like, you can get a previously owned version from your video retailer, and then the mom just being like, oh wow, and then it's like shows some scenes from the movie, and then the teen son going, way to go, Arnold. And I'm serious. That's about as close as I could get to the line read. And I'll send this clip to you guys. It's fucking phenomenal. And then also, before the movie started, it was like, stay tuned after the movie for information about the T2 fan club and merchandise that you can get. So as soon as the credits started, I was like, fast forward. I got to the end. It was just one commercial for this jacket that apparently everyone on set got that had like leather sleeves and Terminator 2 embroidered in it. It was a shitty jacket. And in this commercial from 1991, they were like, send us $240 and you can have this jacket. It's an expensive fucking jacket.
Wait, what's 240 in 1990 money? I don't think it's that much.
Probably like 470 or something like that. Like it's like not quite double, but like close to it. So rewatching Terminator 1 and 2 was pretty fun. I hadn't watched the first one in a while, and it's good. It's like a horror movie. You know, it's got the slasher tropes. I do find it funny. It's like Stan Winston, like kind of phoning it in towards the end, because when it is just the skeleton Terminator walking, you see it from like here up, and it's clearly just on a broom handle, because it'll go like to look at stuff. It looks like Army of Darkness with the fucking skeletons. And I was like, okay, we could have had a turning torso there, Stan. What are we doing? But second one still looks great, and it really kind of made me sad about certain directors like James Cameron or Steven Spielberg, people that would try to do things in real life. They would do their best to like, okay, we're going to spend X amount of the budget just setting up this set piece where we're going to blow up a bunch of cars and a plane flies through. There's a helicopter, like, and everything just being CGI from directors that like knew how to kind of handle a big scene like that is kind of depressing. That I'd like to see them try to do, you know, something with all real effects now.
Yeah.
You know, but it doesn't happen as often. You do get movies like that, you know, something like Fury Road had a lot of real stuff driving around in the desert, you know, and things like that. So, and then obviously Tom Cruise is really selling it with all the stupid shit he does in movies nowadays.
Yeah, I think one of these days with Tom Cruise, we're going to hear that he's in a horrible accident because like because he decided to
Traction
jump.
Tom Cruise, they call him.
Yeah, because like he crashes his plane. He knows how to fly a fucking jet plane.
Yep.
Yeah, that man's insane.
Arnold Schwarzenegger learned how to take off and land a Harrier for the movie True Lies.
The
scene where he takes off, that's actually him doing it. And that's what I say, like there's a movie magic that is like kind of lost, but like I've noticed some movies trying to do it again, but mostly Tom Cruise. Like I saw Top Gun Maverick in theaters and it's great. And when you look at how they made it, they had all those actors in jets. They just had them in like a different seat and then pretended that was the front seat. So all these shots of them being like, oh shit, and like doing crazy turns and stuff, that is them doing it. So it looks good and it'll hold up for years. Yeah.
Also, I looked up $240 in today money. It's $561.33. Yeah. So there's a pack of nerds out there that have that jacket, I'm sure, just sitting in a box somewhere, hanging up in an old closet.
I hope the fan club did well. I love a good fan club.
Yeah.
Did you guys belong to any as a kid?
No, I didn't. No? I missed the boat on that. I feel like that was like an 80s thing. Like
80s, early 90s. The fan club was still alive in the 90s because I belonged to the Goosebumps fan club.
I love it.
I do remember all the books advertising it.
Yeah.
So I remember you got a Goosebumps comic when you joined the club. You got a keychain that had one of those like little lithograph things on it, lithograph stickers. And it was like one of the Goosebumps scary faces. I think it might have been the book about the mask, like the evil mask.
The evil mask that you can't take off.
Yeah, that one. Yeah, I think it might have been that. And then you got some cheapo Goosebumps merch. I think some pencils and stuff. And I was supposed to get stuff every month, but the Goosebumps fan club folded the month after I joined.
Oh no!
So I only ever got one delivery of my sweet Goosebumps made in China crap, and that was it. It was garbage.
Joining late.
Yeah. Were you so obviously Nathan's a Goosebump guy, but Josh, were you a Goosebump or are you afraid of the dark person?
A little both. I definitely had some of the Goosebumps books, but I don't ever recall a time like early on where Goosebumps was like airing, like because I think like when I saw Goosebumps the show, it was a kid would have a tape and they would bring it over, and that it would be like as intense as if we had just put on Child's Play, like the dummy one, whatever it's called. That I remember being super intense. But I didn't have cable. And Are You Afraid of the Dark would air on just like not on cable. So I saw that a lot more. But most of the time I would just be flipping through the whatever 3 channels that I had and then see the fucking like the swing set in the intro of Are You Afraid of the Dark and have to change the channel to psych myself up for the rest of the intro. And then eventually get to the part where the kids are talking. And I don't know if I like, very rarely did I ever like watch a full episode as a kid. It was like years later when they were like rerunning on like the fucking Disney Channel or whatever that I would see it.
Well, you would have been really young when it was
kind of
originally
into
airing.
both.
Yeah. I was into both too, but I think I was a little bit older seeing both. And Are You Afraid of the Dark was so good. Like for what it was, and I don't think it was high budget at all.
No,
but it was really, really good. I enjoyed that, and Goosebumps was fun. The quality of the episodes I found really varied.
Yeah.
Oh, definitely. I remember there was one with a giant worm that was like, that was pretty cool. There was a giant worm effect. But then there was like the one where I think they had the remote control that was like changing the channels on people and making different personalities. That one was dumb as fuck.
Yeah. I bought, when there was like a book fair happening at my elementary school, I bought this giant stack of Goosebumps.
Oh, nice.
And yeah, so I had like the Goosebumps books, but I think I only watched, with the exception of like the Mask episode of the Goosebumps, I usually just watched like Are You Afraid of the Dark? Although I don't remember much about Are You Afraid of the Dark. I just remember them like sitting around the campfire and being like, I have a submission for the Midnight Society.
That's right.
Yeah.
It's the part that stands out the most. Probably because those kids were all the same. So it was the only consistency.
Yeah.
Or I shouldn't say that. There were actors in the story similar to Goosebumps. They would use the same kids all the time and in different roles and sometimes in the main role. So it was like, is this the same person sort of thing? But yeah, it's like Outer Limits for kids. Like you can't always keep track of what they're always doing.
Yeah. It's also Canadian.
Yeah.
Yes, Are You Afraid of the Dark is Canadian.
Yeah. Filmed, I think, in Richmond, British Columbia, and the greater Montreal area. Nice.
Okay.
Yeah. Nice.
Sheesh. 40,000 channels and only 150 of them have anything good on.
Well, since we're already on TV, I haven't been watching much TV, mostly because of the TV having to replace the TV. I am still plugging my way through Buffy and Angel.
Nice.
But I'm doing it in chronological order, so I have to skip over and watch like episodes of Angel and then watch episodes of Buffy. And Angel's in a weird period where it's like, we're not going to do Monster of the Week episodes anymore, despite being a show about a private detective. We're only going to talk about his interpersonal drama and the weird fucking satanic child he gave birth to.
He gave birth to?
Well, no. He got another vampire pregnant, and then the baby was like grew to a point and then wouldn't grow anymore because it was dying inside of her undead body. So he had to stab her with a stake, and she like dissolved into nothing, and there was just a baby laying on the concrete, and he took the baby and now he's trying to raise it. And yeah, it's weird. So it's a lot of that and not Monster of the Week episodes. But Buffy gave me some good Monster of the Week recently. But once I'm done those, I'm gonna just go right into Stargate SG-1 because I haven't watched it in a long time. My girlfriend's never seen it, so I'm gonna do that. But other than that, TV hasn't been too big on it. I need to watch Only Murders in the Building. There's a bunch of episodes of that out, so I want to finish that. But I've only just barely started the first 3 of season 3.
I've been looking for a cartoon show recently to get me through until Bob's Burgers starts up again. Ooh. I like having a cartoon show for like nights where I want to just have some popcorn and watch something that's like 20 minutes long and just kind of fun. And I have the problem that like I just don't really like anything right now that isn't Bob's Burgers as far as cartoons go. Although there's one that I kind of fell into. I don't know if you guys remember the game Cuphead. I think came out in like 2016, 17. Yeah.
I have it. It's fucking impossible.
Yeah. I remember when it came out, I was so enthralled by the art style that I watched like a full play of it. And that was really cool. And then they came out with a show on Netflix. So I kind of tried that out, and it's very it's based a lot on kind of the old Looney Tunes-esque type of thing. So a lot of the slapstick. It's quite juvenile, but at the same time, I actually really enjoy the art style because they made it in that kind of 1930s-esque vein. And so that I've been watching through that, and that's pretty fun. I give that one like a solid B. You know, it's got its moments, and it's never so stupid that I'm just like, I don't want to watch this anymore. I did try another one too recently called Praise Petey. And I don't know who Praise Petey.
I
Yeah,
haven't heard of that.
Yeah, and it's a newer one. Just first season was this year, and it came out, and it's let me think here. It stars Annie Murphy from Schitt's Creek. So she's the main person, and basically she is a New York City kind of mid 20-somethings socialite, right? Kind of the old romantic comedy trope of, works in at a magazine, has, it does her single life type of thing. Anyway, the basic plot is her life falls apart, and she realizes that her father, who is recently deceased, ran a little cult down in like South, like Georgia area. And so there's this little town that thinks she is like the Messiah. And so she goes back to this town, and it's all about like her taking over this cult and trying to figure out what to do with it and that kind of thing. I only watched the first episode, and I know that's never really enough to get a good sense of a series, but the animation style just isn't fun. Like it's kind of...
Is there anything you can compare it to?
Soulless? I don't know. It's like it's honestly like so many shows you see nowadays in terms of that kind of animation style, where there just doesn't seem to be a whole lot of style to it. It's very clean. It's somewhat grounded, but not as grounded as something as like King of the Hill or that was. And it's just uninspiring. It just feels kind of soulless to me. Whereas like watching something like Bob's Burgers always feels kind of cozy, right? It's got a very cozy animation style. Cuphead's very
different
stylized.
from a lot of things.
And this just doesn't
with other stuff.
look different from anything else, and that kind of bothers me about it. I wasn't super taken with the first episode. I may or may not go back to it. I don't know. Give it another shot. But yeah, that's kind of where I'm at for shows right now. Just trying to find something animated and fun.
Star Trek Lower Decks.
Okay, I haven't tried that. I honestly haven't watched anything past
3 seasons of it now.
Okay.
So.
Yeah. Did you say you watched some of it? Or?
No. I was just gonna say I haven't really watched any Star Trek since like Deep Space Nine.
That's fine. That's all you need, because all the references that they're making, because they exist kind of in amongst some of the like probably post the TNG movies. So all the references they're making are like original series, TNG, Deep Space. They go to Deep Space Nine at one point, and like the actors who played the characters voice themselves.
Oh, that'd be fun.
So yeah, do yourself a favor, watch it. They're only like 10 episode seasons, and they're 20 minutes. Yeah, it's super worth watching, and there's a lot of fun stuff. Like even if you don't know a lot about Star Trek, the humor that they use isn't all self-referential. It is really like well written. And when they do reference Star Trek, it kind of comes off in ways that you can imagine like what the bigger picture there is. There isn't always something that's like, every once in a while there is like a really deep cut, but for the most part, if you have a passing knowledge of Star Trek, you can watch it. And it's really funny. I think one of the guys who was like a showrunner on the first couple seasons of Rick and Morty, he left to go do that.
Oh,
so
interesting.
It's
okay.
kind of it. So there is like a smartness to it, and it's clever, but I like it a lot. And of course, I'm a huge Star Trek nerd, so
Nice. I will give that a try.
I also suggest because like when this is released, we're in September now. I kind of recommend for like getting cozy for the fall season. Over the Garden Wall.
Over the Garden Wall. Okay, I haven't heard of that one.
It's like a cute like little animated mini series where it has like Elijah Wood. He plays one of the main characters. Yeah, and it's just basically about like these two brothers who sort of travel into like this weird like old like pastoral historical like America, but it's like full of like strange like fantasy creatures. The place is called the Unknown, and also they're sort of accompanied by different creatures. Every yeah, it's very cute, and it has like a lot of like really cute sorry
Yeah, it was me.
really cute like animation styles that like you'd see from like the early days of animation. So
Nice. Yeah, looking at I'm just on a Google image search here. It does look like a very cozy show. I do love that kind of pastoral landscape and kind of that. Yeah, it gives it a real fall feel from the images I'm seeing. So
yeah,
that looks really good.
yeah,
Yeah, I'll give that a
and,
shot too.
Yeah, and Chris
I think
Isaac is in it too, at some parts, which is he's like the singer, but he has like a really cool like deep voice. So
Nice.
yeah.
There was that show on Netflix called Hilda. I think that's what it was called. It was kind of like a very it's for kids, but it's like a girl and like a magic fox and shit.
Yeah.
I think it's called Hilda. It's a very if you're looking for cozy shows with good music and kind of like not all in your face, that's a good one as well. And then She-Ra and the Princesses of Power. I had a great time with that. Great like long narrative show. It was really fun.
Yeah. But besides that recommendation, I've been watching this. It's like I just got into like a British murder mystery sort of phase like this past week, and I was watching this series called The Barking Murders. It's based off of it's based off of a true story where this man, I can't remember his name, 1 second, Barking, but he's also known as the Tinder killer.
Okay.
No, the Grinder killer, sorry, because he would always he always targeted like gay men. Yeah, and he's played by Stephen Merchant. I don't know if you guys like know who that is.
Oh
but
yes,
he's, like,
yeah.
Oh yeah.
Very, very tall British dude.
He's fantastic.
Yeah, this is my first time seeing him in a serious role, but he plays the guy with like such a like pathetic aura, because this guy was pathetic. Is
Is he the killer?
he is the killer.
He's the killer. Okay.
Yeah. And he just this one moment, because in the series, Stephen Merchant, he's wearing a toupee, but like you notice like because like the top of his hair like it's a lot blonder compared to like the sides of his like hair. And anyways, he takes it off before he goes to court, and you just see like this 6'8" skinny creeper looking grim reaper looking dude just like lurching towards the cop car, and he looks frightening. But it's one of those like police procedurals that make you so mad at the police because they did absolutely nothing. They're just like, oh, it's just a drug overdose, and it's just like, and you have like this like the sisters of the deceased being like, he's right-handed, how did he inject himself with his left hand? It was like that sort of deal. It's just like the police like just didn't care. And like even his neighbor was like, hey, my neighbor's been acting suspicious, like I've seen like him hanging around with like this recent victim and stuff like that. I think I have information. And the police are like, oh yeah, just go down here and you just like fill out this form. And they just didn't do anything with it. So it just made me be like, oh God, ACAB.
And that seems to be a common thread with when they do like real stories like that, like with Ted Bundy. There's a bunch of that happened where they're just like, oh no, we'll give you back this guy who's bleeding and crying and screaming not to go with you. Yeah,
oh,
like,
that's
fuck.
That's not Ted Bundy.
Ted Bundy. Jeffrey Dahmer.
Yeah. It's like this poor like Filipino young man, just like, yeah. I mean, because I'm a bit of a true crime nut. Like I love listening to stories. I don't really like sort of like podcasts that like kind of glorify it. So, but the times when I do listen to like some really good podcasts, I'm just like, sometimes have to take a break because I'm just like, God, some police are just absolutely useless. Because you're like, look at all this evidence, man. Or it's just like, there's like a bunch of like people like disappearing or showing up murdered, and they're just like, either they're, which kind of relates back to like some Canadian news that's happening now with like the, which province is it? Edmonton? Well, Edmonton's not a province, but
Oh, Alberta.
Alberta, of course, Alberta. Just they would like, they're not searching a landfill, even though there's like so much evidence pointing to like, if you look, you will find a bunch of evidence of like women missing and stuff like that. But because
the experts actually, I just read a thing where they were like, yeah, we figured out a safe way to do it, and they're still blocking them from doing it.
Yeah,
it's going in the landfill.
It's yeah, it just makes me so angry because, and then you hear, and you're just like, you bet, because if the victim was like a white person, they would go absolutely nuts and try to figure out and all this stuff. But because they're like either indigenous or black or an immigrant or gay or whatever, it's just, they're seen as like the less dead, as some true crime.
It was like
people
that
say.
van life couple.
Yeah.
Where she went missing and everyone went nuts for like 3 weeks.
Yeah. And then, it's still like an awful story, stuff like that.
Oh, for sure. But there's the disproportionate manpower for one thing to another.
Yeah. Anyways.
Yeah. On a happier note, did you get that TikTok that I sent you that's comparing the Sesame Street opening to Vanderpump opening?
Yes, I saw that.
Is it accurate? Because I don't know what the Vanderpump opening looks like.
Yeah, it's pretty accurate. They're just like, they're just doing some slow motion stuff, but I kind of want to see like Big Bird get into like this weird like love triangle with like Snuffleupagus or
and the ghost of Mr. Hooper.
Yeah, just like, and then like they all get in a huge fight and they just start like, I don't know, throwing glasses at each other or start screaming, "You're a bitch! No, you're a bitch!" That sort of deal. So,
man, I need to watch more reality show. You're tapped into a whole world of drama that I'm not into, and I need to find it. I need to take a pilgrimage.
It's the amount of times I can talk about reality TV show would surpass like the time for our TV segment. So, yeah.
Well, we need to do a special because the amount of times I've been like tempted to just be like, catch us up, what's going on? And I know it's going to go off the rails. Like we need to just like dedicate a whole episode. Just be like, it's the reality TV episode.
I've actually been pretty behind in watching reality TV now. The latest one I watched was I Love a Mama's Boy. And it's exactly what you think of.
Oh no.
It's
girls dating Italian guys.
I mean, I think there's a couple of Italians, but like, yeah, it's just basically he's just, I don't know. Are you guys mama boys? Do you I don't know.
Well, what's the qualifications here? Like,
basically,
do you kiss your mom on the mouth?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, Nathan, you kiss
that's
your mom on the
weird.
mouth?
No, then we're not.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, or do you like, I don't know, spend every single like waking moment with her, or I don't know, just drop everything and go where she's at, or if your mom is like insulting your wife or girlfriend or fiance, like you just stand there.
Yeah, I see my mom about twice a month, so I think I'm probably safe on this one. But this sounds like a hell of a show, though.
Oh, it's insanity. Like, there's one where this woman, I'll try to make it brief because we're like kind of pressing on time, but like this, they're planning their wedding, and the bride was like, "Oh, like because our wedding colors are like a nice navy blue, a cream, and something else. How about like this is a nice blue suit, you know?" And you know, like she was like, try it on. He tried it on. He was like, yeah. And the mom was like, no. It looks too much like you're going to work. How would like this gaudy? It's awful. Red paisley silk
Oh.
suit. It
Like
goes
a prom tux.
Yeah, it's nothing to do with the colors or the scheme of the wedding, which like I don't know about with like you guys or the sense of like planning weddings, like the idea because Nathan, you're married.
Sure.
You're the
am.
married one in this
Yeah.
group. What did you do for your wedding? Did you just like let Dee like have her like I don't know.
Dee was definitely the driving force behind our wedding. But we did like I got a lot of fun jobs. So I made the wedding pinata. I made our Unity volcano. I made the wedding topper. I got to do a lot of like the fun kind of stuff because we had a bunch of kids at our wedding too. There just happened to be a bunch of young kids in our families at the time.
Yeah.
So we did a lot of stuff for them. I got kind of all of the fun work that was less, logistically necessary.
Yeah.
And then she took on the lion's share of the big planning stuff. But we actually had we kind of color coded our wedding too. We had like a nice kind of teal and orange thing going on.
Oh, cute.
And it was very summery too. So like we had flowers that matched that and stuff. And Dee was an absolute machine though. She made her own wedding dress while she was planning her own wedding.
Damn.
Yeah, it was a very do-it-yourself thing. She also baked a ton. Like she kind of catered half of the wedding too.
Damn.
Yeah.
Damn. Yeah. Dee's baking is insane. Every time like there's like a moment in school where there's like food brought, I'm like, where's Nathan? Where is he? Give me the goods.
Yeah.
Where's those maniac brownies?
Give me them. Yeah, but I mean, like, in those situations, like, I think you're working together, even though, but I think a lot of these situations where you have like the mom stepping in and treading all this, I think a lot of it is just the wife to be planning everything. So I can just imagine the frustration and the anger I would feel. I'm like, no, this red does not go with our colors for this wedding. And you got to plan, you got to pay the caterers, you got to book everything, you've got to like make sure like all the invitations got sent out, all this shit. And then like you have like your mother-in-law and like your absolute suck of a husband just doing like, be like, okay, mom, if you think I look good in this, then I'll wear it. That sort of deal. Like, I'd be ripping my hair out. But, anyways. But, shall we do a rewind?
I think it's time for rewind. I will say one thing. I was also married. So I do have wedding stories.
That's right.
But I'll save my wedding stories for another time because there's a whole bunch of shit that happened.
That's right. Sorry, it's just like you forgetting that you were married.
Oh, don't be sorry. It's fine.
I've never been less.
I think we're both happy it's over.
Yeah.
I've never been less surprised than hearing that you have a whole bunch of shit to talk about with your wedding. I was just like, Josh's wedding must have been an event.
Yeah.
Oh. Well, here's the thing. Let's put a pin in that.
Okay.
Next cult meeting episode,
Hey,
I
there
will
we go.
lead with the wedding stories
All
on
right.
the top.
Oh, good.
So let's
Looking
do
forward
that
to it.
because I got a bunch of crazy shit to talk
Let's do it.
But yes, rewind. Gabby, give us that sound effect again. There we go. I don't think I have too much to say on this one, other than I was happy with how the edit came out. Carrie can't project very well.
Mm-hmm.
Like I say that like it's a dig on her. It is just like some people can't.
Mm-hmm.
So I was glad that we were able to bring her up because when we listened to the raw file, she was like, "Oh, I feel like I didn't say a lot." But then when we brought her audio up, she's constantly kind of like chiming in and laughing with us and stuff. So I was happy that she was happy with the outcome of it afterwards.
Good.
But I think it just made me want to watch the movie again. Cutting the clips for it and kind of re-listening to the episode, it just reminded me how freaking awesome it is and such a weird thing that I never watched for so long.
Yeah, it was the same for me editing it. I actually went back and did watch a few of the song numbers again because they're so fun and silly. But that's of all the movies that we've released so far anyway, that one I think I had the most fun editing because it just brought me back to how much fun I had watching and then talking about that movie. I think for my money, it's probably my favorite movie that we've seen. And I love most of these movies, right? Like I'm not I'm not hard to please, to be honest, right? I never seem to have a whole lot bad to say about the things we watch, but this one is a special one for sure.
Yeah, I listened to it this time.
Hey,
I'm actually doing work. Yeah, it was a great episode. And listening to it and looking up pictures for the socials, I was like, what the fuck is this movie? Like, sorry. Okay. Jesus, it's fuck. My allergies are. They just cut the grass outside like a couple hours ago, and now it's like I'm getting like the essence of grass. So, anyways, but yeah, it looks insane when you guys go on with like what was it, the tiddlywinks?
oh, the tiddlywinks, yeah.
Go off about tiddlywinks.
I don't even know what a tiddlywink is. It's
like a little circle, like a clear piece of plastic about the size of a quarter, maybe a little less.
tiddlywinks.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
Is it
We're
like
back on it again. We're back on the tiddlywinks.
Oh yes, tiddlywinks.
Yeah, I was gonna say you've seen these.
I've seen
Everyone's
these.
seen them.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, that made me chuckle a lot.
Yeah. The
also-
5 minutes we spent on tiddlywinks in that episode might be our crowning achievement so far on this podcast. I died editing it. I think it might be the best thing we've done.
Especially when it was like, you think it's done, it starts off again, you think it's done, and then I said, okay, he's escaping, tiddlywinks go everywhere, and you and Carrie just like burst out laughing. It's such a fun thing to listen to.
Yeah.
But yeah, it is a good, as you said, kind of a crowning achievement so far, but there's some stuff coming up that we've said that are there's some episodes coming that I'm really excited, especially the next one. But Gabby, if there's anything else you have to say, I'll let you know.
It's I really liked it. Carrie was really funny. And you all had like a good sort of connection there too. So yeah, it was a really good episode. I also like the part where Beef gets electrocuted.
Yes.
And Nathan's just like, that's how I want to go. Okay. I'm being carried off the stage and people yelling, beef, 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 beef. Oh, that could be Nathan's nickname. Because he wants to be called Beef.
There we go.
Yeah. I don't know. We'll still work on it.
Yeah, workshop it.
We'll workshop it. So, yeah.
All right. Well, next week we have, because you were saying this is a movie that you thought was really your favorite. Of the movies that are coming up that I had never seen before, this was a huge one for me. The Taking of Beverly Hills.
Oh, yes. I love that movie.
This was one of my recommendations, and I was not sure which way it was going to go. I was worried, like, is it going to like waste a lot of its time? It does not. Obviously, the episode's coming out next week. You can all listen to it. I just was checking there. It's only available to watch for free on YouTube. It's not on anything else.
Wow.
Just Watch doesn't seem to know it exists when I check to see if it's on anything else. So the free version on YouTube is the way you can watch it. Or if you're inclined to other ways, then that's up to you. But I won't recommend it outright. But definitely worth a watch, especially since it's free. It's an hour and a half. Super, super fun. And I think you can tell just from our energy on the episode, we had a fucking blast watching it because we're high energy the whole episode. We just can't wait to talk about what happens next. It's so much fun.
Yeah.
You'll also get Josh's Benitez joke from our previous episode. If you want to go back, then you can have a good hearty chuckle at that. Yeah, this is a fun one.
Of lore.
Bubble baths, tanks, a lot of stray
explosions,
animals,
needle drops.
Yeah. God, there's so many good things about that movie. The mullets,
Oh god.
The mullets.
The
oh,
mullets.
Yeah.
Oh, what the fuck is his name?
Kelvin?
Kelvin.
Yeah.
Kelvin.
My sweet boy.
Who's the
Yeah.
boy?
Yeah.
I love him.
I don't think in the movies since or prior that we've attached ourselves so heartily to a character that we've loved. I don't know if there's been a new true love since Kelvin yet.
No.
But that
Or
remains to be seen.
I don't know. There's a couple characters in some upcoming cult member episodes that we might like. We'll
Angela and she is an
you're blowing the
absolute
lead.
gem. Oh no. I'm gonna bleep myself. It'll be fine.
Yeah, literally just put one big long bleep over that.
Yeah.
People can guess what it is.
Or what about beep?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Before we start fucking flipping our cards around for everyone to make bets, we should get out of here.
Yeah. But first, weird facts.
Oh no. I hate that this is a tradition now, but
Let's see. Weird facts.
I feel like the last one wasn't a fact. I feel like it was something someone made up. That was the scrotum one, right? The last
that was the
weird fact?
scrotum one, but that was a couple ones
you
ago.
played
The last
basketball
one.
on that one.
Yeah.
Don't get
How about
that.
weird about the male body?
That's what we did the first episode.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
Go back to the well.
Apparently, male babies can get erections in the womb.
Oh, don't do that. That's gross.
That is gross.
I don't know what purpose it serves.
Practice,
know,
I guess.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
They're making their own compass.
Yeah.
There's no sunlight though, so
I don't know. Maybe those are like the weird babies that like come out of women and end up being like.
to become a cast member on MILF Manor.
or the Mommy's Boys reality show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the same thing, two sides of the same coin, my
Oh,
friend.
it really is.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, everyone.
Yeah.
Well, with that thought in your heads, we're going to leave you for this week. Hope you've enjoyed this. And yeah, stay tuned. We got the Taking of Beverly Hills coming up.
Hell yeah. Oh.
Do it. Watch it.
Hi. Sorry, 1 second. There's a special guest. Come here. No, fucking come here. Come here.
Like Return of the King, we're ending 3 times.
That's right. Yeah.
Oh. Hi.
It's Penny.
Hey,
It's
Penny.
She says goodbye.
See you later, everyone.
Bye.
Oh boy.